JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 27th of October, 2021. So welcome everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. I'll leave you a few seconds to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channels, which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So check us out here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. So now then, so I'll have a few instruments here that I wanted to go through, a few extra indices as well, so let's go through those, but let's quickly mention Nikkei 225 because it kind of remains still below this downside line. So this downside line, taken from the high of the 14th of September, is still doing its job and providing some sort of resistance. So what I'm going to do now here basically is just wait. Play the waiting game because in order to aim for some higher levels I need to see a break of this downside line, and then also, just to be a little bit more on the careful side, a push through this, maybe this 29,489 level, and then yes, more buyers could join in. And also, as I said to you yesterday, on Nikkei here, a drop below this 28,581 level again might do the trick for a few more sellers. However, I would like to see a daily close below this area, because as you can see, we didn't really get these. We did get some trading activity below that level, but then eventually still the close happened above that area. So I would like to see a close below that area in order to consider maybe a bit of a retracement here to the downside. A quick update on Shanghai Composites. So we broke this upside line and we fell below this 3,560 territory. So now it's kind of increasing its chances for maybe a possible move lower. However, as you can see, this 100-day EMA is somehow doing its job in providing support. Let's see how this index is going to end the day, because we still have around 50-something minutes left of trading here. So let's see where it's going to end, and if it stays below this, then maybe we could see maybe a little retracement here back down. I'm not saying that I'm going to be very bearish here or something, but a bit of a retracement could be possible, especially if it also falls below that 100-day EMA, and then we could maybe aim for that 3,515 level, so keep that in mind. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index dropped and broke below the lower side of the this little range that I talked about, and moved lower. But as I said to you before, that initially I'll aim for the area around that 25,437 right here. As you can see, it acted as a nice area of resistance and support as well in the recent past, and also it coincides with that 21-day EMA, which let's see if it actually provides support or not, because in the, also here, as you can see, in mid-October the 21-day EMA did its job and acted as a good area of support. So let's see if that's going to be the case this time. But but for now, again, like I said to you yesterday, that even if we drop below the lower side of this little range, yes, I'll aim for slightly lower levels, but not really drastically to the downside, only up until this 21-day EMA. We can see in chat room here, Erica, yep, good morning to you, good morning to everybody else who's joining in and joined in already. So I hope everybody's having a wonderful start of Wednesday. So yeah, let's have a look at DAX. So here we have basically slightly an opposite situation. So the European indices are quite looking quite strong, and yesterday, as you can see, we pushed above this barrier, above that above this 15,600 zone. So yep, and we continued to rally, and we we reached one of my targets here, the 15,704. I talked about this one yesterday, and we almost managed to reach my other target, the 15,792 level, marked by the high of the 17th of September. And as you can see, well, we almost managed to reach that. So if we take a look at the cash index right now, let's see where we are at right now. So we are seeing a bit of a retracement, so not a significant one, but we're slightly below yesterday's close. So, but that's, I would say, quite healthy still. So I mean, a little maybe retracement, if it drifts lower but stays somewhere above that 15,700 territory, maybe. We could consider still the upside. I mean, we could see a nice little rebound, reversal, and a push back up. If you're a little bit more on the cautious side, of course, you can wait for a push above that 15,792 territory right here, just to be a little bit more on the safe side, as I said, because this way a breakout here would happen. We would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and potentially more buyers could join in. But if we start falling back below this 15,700 territory, I'll take a bit of a neutral stand, although we would still be above this upside line. But if this upside line gets broken, that's where it could become a little bit more interesting for a few more sellers. Now jumping into the Spanish index, IBEX, and I haven't looked at this one for quite a while, as you can see by the drawings here. So let me just remove all the lines, and well, basically we'll start fresh. So first of all, of course, everybody can see that we are still slowly grinding higher. We're creating these higher lows. But let me just put this one on the chart. I think it should be, this way. I think it connects a little bit more. Yes, there we go. So this is a little bit much better. A little bit better, not a little bit much better. Yep, so we're kind of grinding slowly. We're higher, it seems like that. However, you can see that we are struggling with some barriers. So let me just grab a line. So first of all, of course, the highest point of September here is near that 9,055 level. We're stuck currently slightly below that, and yep, we're also still trading below this current highest point of October, which is around that 9,038 level. You can see that we are kind of forming somewhat of an ascending triangle, which of course, according to all the T rules, tends to break to the upside. However, let's not rush into anything, guys. You can see that for quite a while, this whole area right here, and probably let me mark this one on the chart here. So this whole area right here is kind of providing strong resistance. So long story short, in order to aim for some higher levels, a break of this strong resistance is needed, because until then it could it could still remain kind of stuck here. I mean, could start moving sideways here a little bit, but again, like I said, let's wait for that violation. In case of the downside, now this is where we need to have a look at this upside line. If that gets broken, then of course this kind of creates an opportunity for the sellers. However, probably more of them could join in if we drop below the current lowest point of this week, near the 8,892 level, and then yes, we could go for a larger correction to the downside, because don't forget that we're still trading above this upside line taken from the low of the 19th of July. the FTSE 100, very quickly on that one. So this one also, haven't looked at this one for quite a while. Let me just refresh everything, and yeah. So you can see that we are climbing higher nicely here, and we're trading above some of these upside lines. Tentative, of course, but nevertheless, I'll put them on the chart. So the short-term upside lines, and yeah, one of the important things here, of course, is the fact that we have managed to break yesterday, or actually not yesterday, but on Monday. We broke the previous all-time high for October. Sorry, not the highest point of October. Yep, there we go. And then, yep, yesterday we just kind of managed to stick to this upside line, and then kind of we once again pushed above that barrier, above the 7,244 level, and then we stayed above it. So in a way, everything's kind of looking quite positive here, I would say. Yes, we're seeing a slight little retracement right now in the cash index, but let's see how it's going to play out, because we're still trading above the steep upside line. So in a way, higher levels could still be met. This is not the all-time high. I need to correct me here. But this is where it's interesting that where we are at right now and where we've closed yesterday, we are actually near this inside swing low of the 31st of January of 2020, guys. So we are, let's see if this barrier is not gonna end up kind of acting as a strong area of resistance. So be very careful with that. If we climb above it, then yes, of course, we'll continue pushing higher, and our next target, we might not see it, but maybe it's just around here, this inside swing low of the 18th of February of 2020, and that's roughly around that 7,353. So that's going to be my first target, and then of course I'll slowly continue grinding higher. For the downside, now what I would like to see here is a drop below this area here, not only below this upside line, but also drop below the 7,180 zone right here. And then yes, we could consider maybe a bit of a larger correction to the downside here, so keep that in mind. The S&P 500, so yeah, also looking quite interesting. So yesterday we formed a new all-time high, and yeah, what we formed here as well was somewhat of a shooting star here. You can see that, and also, depending on how this is going to play out today, if by any chance the cash index retraces lower today, because it's currently sitting at around 4,577, so just slightly above yesterday's close. But if by any chance, let's say before the U.S. opening bell, it's going to retrace, and let's say it's going to open somewhere a little bit lower, then we could, I'm not saying that this could be will be the case, but we could see maybe an island reversal pattern. But again, let's wait for that. Let's like I said, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But yeah, for now, considering this idea, but of course I'll have to just take it, you know, how it is. I mean, when it's going to open, and just, you know, you have to constantly reevaluate things as well. So keep that in mind. But anyway, long story short, we've managed to reach an area near the 4,598 level. So basically, almost reached that psychological 4,600 zone. We didn't really hit that particularly because we fell shy by just a few points. And yeah, if we push above this current high, all-time high, then of course, yes, we'll aim for higher levels. This will confirm a forthcoming higher high, and potentially more buyers could join in. But for the downside, if you're looking for some downside, then, well, at least wait for a drop below this steep upside line right here. Let me just zoom out here. There we go. So this one right here, wait for it. I mean, actually, looking at the picture here, I mean, might as well, we could be already below it if we open up today, but that's quite interesting in that case. So in that case, keep your eyes on it. But what I'm gonna look at here is the highest point of September. This 4,545 level, and as you drop below it, may open the door for a few sellers to join in here and drag this one lower. So keep that in mind, guys. But for now, of course, everything's still well, everything's still kind of positive, but again, let's take everything with a pinch of salt. I mean, eventually this will have to retrace at some point. However, will it be right now, or will it be a little bit later after it goes for a further push higher? That's the kind of the question that we need to be we need to always keep in mind. If it pops above the current all-time high, then yes, of course, we'll continue aiming higher. Dollar index, very quickly on this one, the DXY, so pushed higher. You can see that one of these these levels played out nicely. So what I talked about yesterday was that this 93.86 level that I'm keeping an eye on, because somehow it's doing its job and providing good resistance, as you can see here. Well, if we do get a nice good push above that area again, then yes, my next target will be this 94.17 level, and then we'll take it from there. For the downside, I would rather maybe wait for at least a push back below the 21-day EMA, and then we could consider maybe a slide towards that 93.50 zone. Gold retraced, although it stayed above that, initially stayed above that psychological 1800 level, but as you can see, reversed sharply down, drifted lower, but still remained above this downside line taken from the high of the 1st of June and stayed above this upside line taken from the low of the 30th of September. So let's see if we're not going to get something like this here, where we could see a nice little rebound again from this upside line, and then another push higher. However, if this upside line gets broken and we see the commodity falling somewhere below this little territory here, the 1782 zone marked by yesterday's low, and this is where it may lead to some further declines here, guys. But of course, we're not going to kind of become very, very bearish on this one, but just lower levels, slightly lower levels could be met. WTI Oil, so reversing back down again, so once again flirted with this 84.10 zone, and then yeah, yesterday we saw a push higher again, but today we're seeing a slight drift lower, so it's becoming a little bit messy here, and I would say that this 84.10 zone is it seems that it's no longer valid. So that level was the lowest point of November of 2012, so we can actually adjust now our level, and yep, let's bring it back up right here. So there we go. So the current highest point here of October is near the 85.39 level. If you're looking for some upside, then wait for at least a push above that barrier, and then you could go higher, because as you can see here how many attempts that these sellers have to bring this one lower. Still, they failed. They lost the battle here, and yep, saw the bulls kind of stepping in and pushing this one higher again. So for the downside, I would probably go slowly on this one. Let's say if it drops somewhere below yesterday's low, then yes, this could increase the chances to see a larger correction to the downside towards this upside support line taken from the low, the 23rd of August, and then yeah, we would take it from there. Maybe we would see a rebound, maybe we would see a break, but again, let's not rush into anything. For now, let's go slowly on this one, and for now, that's kind of the game plan I'm gonna have. And I would like to see, like I said, a push above this 85.39 level in order to go for some higher levels. Litecoin, very quickly on this one, so continues to trade above this upside line, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this one, but basically, yeah, we had a bit of a pause here, retracement, but now we're seeing a nice little rebound again from this upside line, and let's see if it pushes higher. We would like to see this crypto kind of maybe pushing above the current highest point of October, but I would say like this, that as long as we stay above this upside line, then there is still a chance for this one to move higher. Of course, as always, be careful, have your stop losses in place, just to be kind of, like I said, just to be a little bit more on the safe side. But if it suddenly starts breaking this upside line and stays below it, then maybe we could see a bit of a retracement here, a move back down, let's put it this way. But like I said, as long as it stays above this upside line, then yep, there is still a chance for the bulls to drag this one higher. Quick update on AUD and ZD. Oh, by the way, yep, good morning to you too. You can see in the chat room. So coming back to AUD NZD, so I kept on talking about this one since the beginning of this week, and basically what I said that we might see a nice little rebound here from this area, and well, our next target could be this 1.0496, which we managed to reach perfectly, and we managed to also overshoot it and test the 108 EMA, so which I also mentioned yesterday. So that's a good achievement. Now my question is, can we see a further move north? However, if it continues to somehow trade, let's say, below that 108 EMA somewhere, well, maybe something like this could be possible, and maybe we could eventually see that head and shoulders pattern. But again, let's like I said, let's wait for it. Let's see how it's going to play out here. It still could push higher, don't get me wrong, but yeah, if it somehow still struggles to remain, let's say, above this 108 EMA, then, well, maybe something like this would be possible. So let's see what's going to happen. AUD USD very quickly on this one. So this one's kind of actually looking a little bit more positive than negative. However, we have found resistance near the 0.7537 level again, and yeah, so now we need to see if this is actually not gonna end up being a nice area of resistance. So if we pop above this area, then yes, I'll aim for the upside here, but only up until this downside resistance line, taken from the high of the 25th of February. Now, in terms of the downside, well, like I said, if we do see a hold up here near this barrier, a bit of a retracement here could be possible. And if we get a break of this upside line, then yes, certainly lower levels could be met. But let's get to that point first. For now, let's keep on monitoring the 0.7537 level. Quick update on USDCAD. So we had that nice little retracement. I kept on talking about it. So this level here, the 1.2311, did provide good support, and this is what I mentioned before. Now, in order to kind of, like I said, consider, well, to evaluate and see what's going to happen further, personally, I would like to see what's going to happen with this downside line, because in a way, at the moment, it seems like it wants to push a little bit higher here. But if this downside line provides good resistance, another slide could be possible. Of course, if this downside line gets broken and we see the daily candle kind of staying above this area, the body of the daily candle staying above this area, then, well, I mean, above this downside line, then, well, maybe we could consider a bit of a move higher. GBPUSD very quickly on this one, and we're still waiting here, because as you can see, we're still stuck in between these two lines. This upside support line taken from the low the 30th of September, and the downside resistance line taken from the high the 30th of July. So although it's closer to this this upside one, let's wait and see, guys. I mean, of course, the closer it gets, kind of there is a decent chance we could see a break of it. However, as I mentioned before, we rather wait and wait for that break, and especially for the downside here, I would rather maybe stick to the 1.3736 level right here, marked by the low of the 22nd of October, just to be a little bit more on the safe side, in order to consider slightly lower levels. And finally, EURUSD. So again, not much excitement here. So again, it's not the most exciting pair to trade right now. But yeah, if you can find value in this, then yep. I mean, I congratulations, I would say, like this way. But again, at the moment, it's just kind of stuck here. It's still kind of, I would say, oscillating around this 21-day EMA, but on a slight kind of downtrend. In order for me to, let's say, consider maybe lower levels, I would like to see a drop below this this hurdle, the 1.1572 level, and then yes, we could consider maybe a bit of a move towards this the lowest point of October near the 1.1525 level. And then we would take it from there. For the upside, it's difficult. I mean, if it pushes back above the 21-day EMA, yes, we could go for some higher levels, but there is this obstacle right here, this 1.1670 territory, which could provide resistance. So, and also this downside line, which is taken from the high of the 1st of June. So be very careful with that, guys. So yeah, guys, that's it for this session. I hope you found it useful, and thank you very much for your views, your comments, guys. I really appreciate that. So, so yeah, like I said, I hope this was useful. If you want to catch me tomorrow morning, as always, at my Traders Espresso, that's 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, have a wonderful trading day. Stay safe. Have your stop losses in place, and everything will be fine. Bye bye.